Welcome to this edition of The Hill with April Ryan. We're starting on a sad note. Another school shooting, this time in Nashville, Tennessee, where 3 school children and 3 adults were left dead. Domestic Policy Advisor Susan Rice said Congress must do more. It is long past time to ban assault weapons. This unmitigated violence is absolutely senseless. Arne Duncan, the former Obama administration education secretary, is calling for a national boycott of schools until our children are safe to learn there and our adults are safe to teach. Studies have found the #1 cause of death for our children is said to be guns.
And this is an idea born out of probably desperation. And I don't want to say it's some brilliant idea. I just really try and study social movements and study the civil rights movement and what Dr. King did. And when you had, children being, hit with fire hoses, when you have children being attacked by dogs, when you had children going to jail in Montgomery and other places, that shocked the consciousness of our country.
And white people got involved in the marches because they saw that.
Everybody got involved because they saw the conflict, and it was clear good versus evil. This for me is the closest parallel that I can see, and that the fact that we've raised a generation of children, many of whom just think it's a matter of time before it's their school. Children here in Chicago talk to me about if I grow up, not when I grow up, and we've allowed this to become normal. It's not normal, and it's not fair.
President Joe Biden plans to visit Rolling Fork, Mississippi, where the recovery continues there after devastating and rare EF4 tornadoes left more than 20 people dead. The tornadoes destroyed hundreds of homes and businesses, leaving families homeless and with nothing. Most of Rolling Fork's population is over 80% Black, with a median income of just over $38,000, according to the U.S. Census data. In other news, a new PBS Marist poll shows 56% of Americans feel the various investigations into former President Donald John Trump are fair. Those investigations are looking into the $130,000 hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels and possible attempts to change the outcome of the last presidential election. Meanwhile, Eric Holder, the former U.S. Attorney General in the Obama administration, believes the investigation in the state of Georgia, where Donald Trump was caught on tape asking state officials to change the presidential election results there, has a strong chance of an indictment.
Well, I think the evidence, as I've read about in the newspapers and in the media, is pretty compelling. And my guess would be that an indictment ultimately will be returned. The tape of his phone call asking for 11,780 votes. I understand there's another recording of another conversation he had with somebody else who was a Georgia state official. I think all of that indicates that a case ultimately will be brought in Georgia against the former president.
So do you believe that it's feasible that he will be indicted and there could be jail time for that?
I think everybody has to be held accountable. And given the magnitude of what it is that I think he ultimately will be charged with, I think jail has to be certainly considered a possibility. But that's way down the road. I think, there's a lot between now and when a determination is made as to whether or not he has to go to jail.
Up next, traveling overseas with the Vice President to Africa. The Ghanaian leg of the trip lasted for several days, with a large contingent of Black leaders traveling in support of the trip and meeting with counterparts in their respective areas. And theGrio exclusively caught up with Tonya Lee, producer and film director, as well as wife of filmmaker Spike Lee. She's on the trip with the Vice President, and she says,
first of all, it is so wonderful that the Vice President, our first female Vice President of color, is able to make this trip here to the continent. And her first stop, as you know, is here in Ghana. I think it's what they're trying to do, it seems, that the administration and the Vice President is really talk about partnership with Africa, how we can work with Africa. And so, here in Ghana, it's, for me, what I'm focused on is the women's empowerment piece, women's health, women's economic empowerment. And Spike and I were earlier at an event with the second gentleman with the first all-girls youth basketball clinic that is in concert concert with the African NBA. So it's happening here. There are partnerships that are happening, and it's really wonderful to see.
Thanks a lot, Tonya. Well, that's it for this edition of The Hill with April Ryan, where the news and politics about us is amplified. Peace.